Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon. I'm back for another video about Marvel Strike Force. So a lot of people have been talking about, things they liked in 2020 and things they didn't like in 2020 about Marvel Strike Force. And I sort of returned to Marvel Strike Force somewhere to the start of 2020. After the pandemic started, I had a lot more free time, and I was at home, and I was, Marvel Strike Force lives rent-free in my head ever since the day it came out. And I decided, I'll pick it back up and play it some more. So there's a lot of new things that had come to the game since I last played it, and there are new things that have come to the game over the course of this year while I've been playing it. And I want to talk about some of the things I really like that they've added. And then once this video once we get through the good things, I want to sort of hammer down on Scopely about some things that I really think they need to fix that they haven't fixed, and I see no inclination that they are going to be fixing it anytime soon. So let's start out with the good things in Marvel Strike Force from this year. I actually even wrote it down, so I have some notes. I really like ISO 8. I think ISO 8 as a whole was done incredibly well. It's super smart how they do it. There's really, the only RNG is farming out the ISO 8, but even then it's nothing like crazy. It's just, do I get my ISO 8 drop, do I not get the ISO 8 drop? And then really it's just you slot it into the character, and then that's it. It's a very linear. It's a yes no. Do I have enough ISO 8 pieces? Yes. And then I fuse them together, and then you can pick your class. It's pretty much, I think, as good as you could possibly hope for a system like this. I think it added some depth to the game, gave a lot of characters a bit of a power boost, and I think in certain instances it's very engaging. It's not deep thinking all the time. Generally if a character has something in the kit or says if they crit, do bonus effect, you're like, okay, let's give them the crit effect then. So sometimes it's as simple as that, but I really like the system. I think when you heard that they were going to be releasing a system like this, it was very scary, but it turned out really well. They did an excellent job with this system, so I'm a big fan of it. Next up, something else I really do like in this game is Blitz Sim. I think they should also go farther and do a raid sim, but we'll talk more about raids as I get to the bad in the video. But this is incredible right here. This saves a ton of time. Now, I personally I only really went to milestones when there was normal Blitz, but there were some people that really, I don't know, crazy in Blitz, and this is nice that you can compete at a much higher level in this game without giving away your life. And I think it's great. Contest of Champions, they don't even have this, and that game's been going on for like 6 years. They just had their 6-year anniversary, and you still have to run through. They have an equivalent to Blitz. I think they're called their arena, and you just run through your champions. I watch streams, they just sit there swiping across the screen. I mean, like, this is big right here. This is something that for the rest of time will save humanity hours. Who knows what humanity might have been in 2021, thanks to the fact that we now have people not wasting their time on Blitz. Now, I personally was like, again, I only milestones. I never hated it that much, but I score much higher now, and I do get more rewards out of Blitzes. And it's sort of your bigger roster is pretty much the only thing holding you back from getting points, as opposed to the amount of time you're willing to invest, because now you just have to hit a couple buttons. I'd like it if when you switch between roster, they'd automatically find an opponent, because it's kind of repetitive right now. You have to like find an opponent, battle, switch over, find an opponent, battle. I wish you could just automatically find an opponent, but whatever, because you usually have to switch between the 3 to find the weaker one anyway, so there's a couple of button presses, but it's still so much better than it used to be. Next up, I would like to talk about some of the characters that came out this year, as I think we had some super creative teams come out this year. Some bad ones too. We'll talk about that later, but if we take a look at the Black Order, I think this mechanic of having each character give a stone to Thanos and he becomes empowered was really innovative. I have not seen something like that in any other Marvel video game or any sort of similar mobile game like this in my life. It's a very interesting mechanic. I think it really brings to life that fantasy with Thanos, with sort of collecting the stones and having this infinite power. I'm a huge fan of the mechanic, and I think it's super creative. I think, now that it's been out for a year, people kind of forget how awesome that is. That's a really cool mechanic right there. Another team I'd like to highlight is the symbiotes. I think the symbiotes are awesome. I think we don't have a raid sim, but the symbiotes are pretty much raid sim for me. I just set them and they just complete the battles for me. I think they're really fun to play. I like the gimmick where they sort of feed off of the enemy team. They apply debuffs. They sort of energize themselves by doing that. And but I think for new players and sort of these in-between players that don't necessarily have all these legendary characters super well built up, the symbiotes are kind of a cheat code for running raids. and you can sort of save a lot of time throughout the game, and they're a very strong team. I'm a huge fan of the symbiotes, and the best part is a lot of their effects aren't raid exclusive. Some of their best effects are, but they're still useful throughout the rest of the game. So I'm very happy with the symbiotes team. I just think they're really well done visually. I mean, they're just so cool. I love the symbiotes. Next up, I'd like to talk about live PvP. Now, live PvP, I think is, you know, I think there's some good, there's some bad. There used to be an event here where you could just fight in live PvP. They've sort of developed it a little bit more into being its own thing with the Battle Pass and real-time arena. I certainly think the Battle Pass is too expensive. I think it needs to be $10 in real money or $20 in cores. I think, you know, people say, oh, well, that's not, you know, that's not enough cores, you know, that's too easy. Too bad you guys made a bad economy then. Like, I don't know, not my fault that you guys messed up the power core economy. Like, I don't know. But anyways, I like the idea that there's real-time arena and real PvP in this game, because that's something Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes did not have come to the game for, I don't think they still have it. I'm pretty sure it's not in the game still, and that game's been out for like at least 6 years or something like that. Contest of Champions, another big Marvel game. They have competitive Contest of Champions, and I'm pretty sure you just fight the AI, which they're doing the best they can. But why aren't they? It's a fighting game. Like, why aren't they actually fighting each other? Like, think about, like, I don't think there's the infrastructure in the game to run that. So the fact that they have created something like this, I honestly think Bugsness should look into competitive Marvel Strike Force. I think the, you know, this is no Overwatch or something like that, but people watch Contest of Champions competitively. Some people would watch Marvel Strike Force competitively. So I certainly think there's a potential. Battle Pass, I'm not, you know, I worry that some characters are going to be released in here and you have to spend $20 to unlock them. I think it's a little repetitive. The matchmaking is not great, but the fact that live PvP exists in this game in itself is something very awesome. It's something a lot of other mobile game players would love to have in their game, and I think it adds some legitimacy to Marvel Strike Force to have some real PvP where there's actual thought, and such as who has the bigger number wins. Now, right now it is a little bit of who has the bigger number wins, but I still, you know, this isn't something to forget about. The fact that they added this is huge, and what's nice is hopefully this means we'll get some meaningful PvE content coming next year, because there's no more PvP they can add, because they did PvP this year. It's a very PvP focused year. I really need some more PvE content, which again we'll talk about later. And finally, they did rework Red Stars a bit. Now, I'm not quite sure how much of the Red Star rework occurred this year. I think this Red Star store was added this year, but regardless, they have been working on Red Stars this year. And while I think the fact that there's a Red Star here is dumb, I think in reality, you should just be able to go to a character and just pay. They'd be like, do you want to pay the cost to take their Red Star to the next level? And you can just pay the money there. The fact that you have to wait for them to rotate through the store is kind of dumb. It's really cheesy. The fact is, though, people keep spending money on it hurts when I read on the subreddit, is anti-venom in the store? Like, I bought 50 refreshes. Like, I've been refreshing them 5 times every day. I'm like, this is why it's here, because people are spending. So hopefully people will stop spending cores on these at some point, and then they will stop doing this little rotation on the stores that are all silly. But even with that, you know, this is a drastic improvement over Red Stars, which is why I left the game originally. The Red Stars were just so bad. It's still, I think they need to give out more silver and gold credits. I mean, right now you get 1 gold credit a day, really. That's like your progression, for me at least, for my daily rewards. We need an influx of these. These need to be dropped in raids. They need to be dropped more in real time. I don't know, they need to drop way more. So silver credits should be given out like just for free. Like, silver credits shouldn't even be something that's held out away from us. To get a character up to 4 Red Stars, 5 Red Stars, you know, really, I think that should be much more accessible. If they want to get a little more greedy with the gold credits, go ahead. But I think silver credits, we need to see more of those come into the game. And that actually leads well into the next thing I want to talk about, which is the fact that Marvel Strike Force is not keeping up with the times in terms of grinding. When the game first launched, level 60 was the max. I don't know what the gear tier max was, like 11 or 12 or something like that. Now we're up to gear tier 15, level 80, more characters coming out. You know, we have like 3 characters coming out a month, and they've not done anything really to increase the training materials you can get. You get slightly more from real-time arena now, and slightly more from running do more missions, but we don't need slightly more. We need like double. When they just ran dropping double training materials, I thought even then, I still don't think that was enough training materials dropping in the game. Now, of course, if they boosted training materials, then we'd have too many training materials dropping, and we wouldn't have enough gold. So then we need gold to drop more. But throughout this whole game, the grind needs to be updated. right here, premium orbs are garbage in this game. Mega orbs are garbage in this game. They need to be updated. They need to take on characters that are farmable from premium orbs. Same for mega orbs. The fact that people spend money on these, I think, you know, they're being ripped off. The premium orbs are not a good value unless you're like a brand new player and anybody dropping from the orb is valuable to you. I really think the Legacy 1 orb, Legacy 1 orb, I think they need to do a Legacy 2 orb, have a couple more characters that came out in between those Legacy 1 and the current characters, put them in the Legacy 2 orb, then take every character that's in the Legacy 1 and 2 orbs and remove them from the Mega Orb and Premium Orbs, and then maybe make Legacy 1 and 2 orbs a little more obtainable throughout the game, and sort of use this as a way, like Legacy 1 and 2 orbs as a catch-up mechanic for new players coming into the game and stuff like that. I think they need to look into that. Superior uniques, those are not farmable yet. Right now, when you're farming out characters to get to gear tier 14 for Dark Dimension 3, we still do not have these special, there's like these one special item for a lot of characters, like for the symbiotes, the superior alien spores, not farmable in the game. You have to get them out of an orb or buy them in the store when they happen to appear there. That is not interesting at all. That is a horrible mechanic. They've been slowly progressing towards making this better. There used to be mini uniques for characters. Those were not farmable. Like Thanos right here has his Shoggoth Ichor. If we go over here, right over on this side, the Shoggoth Ichor was not farmable. It has been made farmable now. They've been making progress to this, but we need those superior uniques to be farmable. Some people have been considering Dark Dimension 3 farmable. I don't think it's farmable until these mini uniques are obtainable in the game. So whether that's a Doom War Chapter 4 or they add a new campaign, those need to be obtainable somewhere. And at that point, I think Dark Dimension 3 is sort of good to go for free-to-play players. Until then, I still think it's pretty crummy game design to sort of have the farming be like this isn't farming, waiting for something to appear in a store. That's not good. That's not engaging. That's bad. We shouldn't accept that. If we take a look at raids, I think raids are outdated. I think raid sim, you know, the fact that raid sim existed and they took that away, maybe that's what makes me feel a little resistant to them, but I don't find them engaging. I think generally I set it on auto and I look away and I come back. Actually, I forget about it, and then I'll come back like 10 minutes later, my phone will have turned off automatically. I'm like, oh yeah, I was running a raid, and then I get my rewards. I honestly think Alpha, Beta, Gamma, I don't think they drop enough rewards. You know, these character shards, I don't care about them. They're not interesting characters to get from the orbs. I think what's dropping as a reward in the sort of by running the raid, I don't think these are engaging, because here we have the character orbs, the character fragments dropping from the orbs. As you can see, like, I haven't even opened up the orbs I just got from the raid yesterday. I just don't care. I didn't get to it. Gold orb, yes, that's nice, but again, gold orbs, they don't drop anywhere near enough gold. And then orange gear raid orb fragments, like, I guess that's nice, but there's not that many of them. Generally, I don't get anything that great out of it, so I just don't care that much about Alpha, Beta, Gamma raids. I know they did add a difficulty selector for these raids. I don't know, it didn't really boost the rewards enough. It's nothing meaningful. It's just more of that stuff I don't care about that I just talked about right there. I think I like Ultima 7 because I get the training materials. I really think they should up this. Is sort of going what I just talked about last with the training materials. I think they should allow more purple and gold materials dropping. I think gold should be dropping like twice as much as it is, especially when they're locking away a lot of the new mechanics for characters, like the war rework for the skeleton team hidden behind the gold training levels. I think you really need to make those more obtainable. I think purple should also be more obtainable, at least for new people coming in the game, because again, back in 2018 when this game came out, purple materials, it was dropping at a fine rate because you only had 60-70 characters. You know, new player hops in the game now, 160 characters or something like that, and they need to level all of them up, and they have huge backlog of characters. Purple, I think, needs to drop more. I don't think that should be a bottleneck anymore as we move along. I honestly think we could maybe see a new type of ability level coming soon, maybe like a red ability material, and we sort of take it to an extra level, and then maybe purple will be more farmable and gold will be more attainable. I don't know. I think raids need a rework as a whole. I think we need boss raids too, like in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or Disney Sorcerer's Arena even has it. We don't have that, but you fight a big boss, and it's sort of as an alliance. You work, you send in your team, you attack it, you do as much damage as you can, your team dies, and that's sort of your contribution. I think that'd be really engaging mode, which actually segues well into another complaint I have with this game: farmability and the fact that we need more avenues to make characters farmable. Right now, all they can really do is put them in a campaign node. We're running out of campaign nodes to put characters in, and there's only so many characters you can put in there before you bottleneck new people coming to the game, because they only get so much energy every day. But right now, they just keep throwing new characters in the arena. Look how many characters are in the arena store. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have like roughly 18 characters in the arena store right now, and they're going to add another one. As a new player, this is horrible how many characters are stuck in this arena store. Huge bottleneck right here. Raid and Alliance War, don't even get me started. They don't even show you all the characters, and there's still so many in here that need to be farmable. Blitz, actually, they give a lot of Blitz credits out. There's sort of Blitz really isn't a problem, but still, I think that, there are too many characters in Blitz. But it's kind of made up for the fact that literally Blitz credits just like rain out of the sky. But still, there's so many characters in here. Very intimidating as a new player coming into the game. And the fact is, all they can do is add more characters to these stores. We need another store. And then we start out this new store, they need to pick like 3 characters off of all these current stores in the game, and then add in a bunch of new characters to be farmable in the new store. The only way we could get a new store is with a new game mode. So whether that's a Dark Dimension sort of thing like Future Fight, where you climb a tower and you can sort of only use your characters once and it resets every week, or whether it's a big boss battle mode like a new raid or something like that, we need a new mode for PvE that makes characters farmable in another avenue. There's too much right now in these stores for new players. It's too much going on, too scary, too much of a backlog. It's not engaging at all. And then the final thing I think we need to see, kind of going on the aspect that Foxnex doesn't update with the times. We need more save squads. They've mentioned this, but they've been mentioning it for like years. So I don't know, like, there's a hold up here. They used to have 20 save slots. They upped it to 30. It's like a bandage on the wound. We need, not only do we need more, we need infinite save squads, really. We also need tabs right here. There's a blank spot. You can put tabs right here. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes does it. Raid teams, gamma raid teams, alpha raid teams, beta raid teams, arena, real-time arena team. We need some tabs here to sort of sort through these teams. And I think also, it's a big pain. Right now we have the Red Winter event coming up, and there's going to be characters that you get points for by using them in Blitz. Generally, the community comes up with the best teams to build out of these new characters. So if you want to do it quickly, instead of running through every character in Blitz, so that way you use all those special characters, you just run those 8 teams that are designed with those characters that give you the bonus points. You just circle through those 8 teams as many times. But with how the game's designed right now, you can't create save squads for those teams. There's not enough save squad slots. It's very silly, I think, that they add that to the game. They know you'd probably want to build teams with these characters that have the special tags. There's no room to build them right now, and I don't even have all the teams built. Skilletary's coming to the game soon, and that's one more team slot taking up here. I could have built a Hand or a Ravager team if I really wanted to, but they're so garbage it's not even worth running them in modes. But we need more save slots coming into this game. We need them now. We needed them yesterday. It really has to come to the game. I don't know what the holdup is there. I guess there must be some really hard coding or something going on there. Like, they can't seem to crack it. But whatever. Finally, what I want to talk about is restrictive teams. I enjoy when characters come to a team because, as you know, I'm not a fan of X Factor right now because there's only 2 of them and they don't have a team to go on. But that's because if they go on a team, they boot 2 other characters out and they'll have nowhere to go. So that's sort of the restrictive meta in play right there. Real-time arena, it shows how you lose against a cookie cutter team if you're using a bunch of randoms, unless you're using like the meta, like Baron Zemo and Emma Frost and stuff like that. I think where I like the idea of tags and characters being sort of restricted, but I think we're seeing much too heavy restrictions. As you can see right now, we have Astonishing X-Men, and then we have the Uncanny X-Men if I scroll down to the bottom. So for some reason, they're segregating the X-Men into 2 different factions, and they refuse to work with each other. Why? I don't know. If we look at the brand new team they just added this skilletary team, this skill military team. So let's take a look at the military tag. So as we see, these are all the military characters, but the new team works with skill military. So of course there's some characters that should be here that aren't. I don't know why Black Widow's not qualified to be military, but whatever. But for the skill military team, you're first forced to run Mercenary Soldier, Red Guardian, Elena, Punisher, and Killmonger. Captain America, War Machine, Captain Marvel, they do not work on the team. For some reason, they decided, let's skill military. Who wrote that? Who wrote skill military as opposed to just normal military? I don't know why they did that. So I like the idea of tags, but we need more tags added to characters. We need less restrictive tags coming to the game. Why doesn't Shatterstar have the X Factor tag? I would argue Shatterstar is most famous for his role as a member of the X-Force, but he does not have the X-Force tag. Neither does Colossus or Psylocke, who are core X-Force members. You know, Colossus was in the Deadpool movie, and he does not work with Deadpool in this game. So I think what we need to see come to this game is either more tags to characters, and they need to take out some of these restrictive tags. It wouldn't take long for them to do this, but I think the only reason why they do this is because they know they can sell a team to you. If they made these new X Factor, Shatterstar, Longshot work with on another team that exists in the game, maybe you wouldn't buy the other 3 characters that are coming to the X Factor team, because you'd be like, well, I already have a team working for Longshot and Shatterstar. I don't need these other 3 characters because the Longshot and Shatterstar already work. But right now, you're like, oh, I got 2 of the characters. I need to get the other 3 so they're useful, and I have the full team then. It's sort of like a sunk cost fallacy. So I think that's something we need to see come next year. But overall, I really like this year for Marvel Strike Force. A lot of awesome characters coming to the game, a lot of awesome updates. I just think there are things that Fox Next doesn't think are big issues, and slowly over time they're getting more and more detrimental to the game. And if they don't fix it, I think there's only a matter of time before another fix MSF campaign comes around for some quality of life improvements. I think it kind of looks like they don't care about the game sometimes. With some of these changes, you know, it's like they don't even play the game. Like how can you play the game as a developer and be like, I like premium orbs. I think premium orbs are in a good place. I'd spend $5 on premium orbs. Like, come on now. What the heck? So, but I know they do care about the game. At least some of them do, because ISO 8 was really great. Blitz Sim, really great. A lot of really great stuff coming into the year. But let me know, what was your favorite character to release this year? I'd have to say mine, maybe Anti-Venom. I really do like Anti-Venom. Big fan of him. But at the end of the day, what do I really know? Because I am only a 19-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Signing off, everyone.